Look back over the past, with its changing empires that rose and fell, and you can foresee the future too. Marcus Aurelius, Meditations, Book 1, 121 to 180. A pair of fossilized footprints of a Paleolithic woman and a child, left around 30,000 years ago, were found in the summer of 1994 beneath one of the principal thoroughfares of Buda, Főutca, Main Street, by the Danube. It was unearthed by a contractor digging up the road and prompted a wave of interest and debate among Hungarians about the far-distant past. For children educated under 45 years of communism, and to earlier generations brought up under regimes of the nationalist right, the history of Hungary began in the 9th century AD, when the nomadic Magyar tribes, who originated from the Kazakh steppes, wandered west and began settling in the Danube basin. Before that, the narrative went, the area was almost empty, virgin territory. The stones of Budapest have always been political. Each new discovery of life before the Magyar conquest has begun a new round of culture wars about who was a Hungarian, when, and where. Over the years, various archaeologists made finds nearby of a Bronze Age civilization along the Danube, locating tools, weapons, and pieces of gold dating from more than 3,000 years ago. During the 8th to the 5th century BCE, the nomadic Scythians, originally from Central Asia, built temporary villages in present-day Budapest. One of their offshoot tribes were the Pannons. Proof of the first semi-permanent settlement was made in the mid-1990s. A fort built around 550 BCE on what is now Gellert Hill, on the northern reaches of Buda, by a Celtic tribe known as the Everyski. It had a commanding view of the great sweep of the river. Little is known about the Ereviscans or their language, but it is believed that they called their tiny settlement, on mineral springs perfect for bathing, Ak-ik, meaning warm water. This might have been what the Romans believed the Ereviscans called their settlement, as it is so close to a Latin equivalent, but some recent evidence suggests it was indeed the Celtic name. Budapest has always been a spa town. The land further east, present-day Pest, on the other side of the river, was occupied by the Sarmatians. The Danube was a natural border, hard to cross, but they built no permanent settlements in the region. In the early part of the 1st century AD, the legions of the first Roman Emperor, Augustus, made short work of conquering and subjugating the Ereviscans. The Roman army arrived in force from around the year 50 and began work on building a defensive line of forts along the river to patrol the empire's newest province, Pannonia. One of the first of the camps, originally occupied by a corps of cavalry, was named Aquincum, because of the hot and cold water springs below what are now the Buda Hills. Around the year 90, the Romans reinforced the settlement and began to build a significant camp for the legions. Aquincum was the headquarters of the Legio Secundus Adjutrix, the main army of defence against barbarian raids from the north and east. A large civilian town grew a kilometre or so from the camp, comprising a variety of traders and artisans to serve the military, along with a large number of slaves. In 106, the Emperor Trajan made Aquincum the new capital of the province, which he renamed Pannonia Inferior. Pannonia Superior was further west, where its principal town was Vindobona, now Vienna. An enormous 120-metre square palace for the governor was built on the Danube island opposite, now Óbuda Island. The first of the Aquincum proconsuls to live in the new palace, governor from 106 to 108, was Publius Aelius Hadrianus, who, a decade after he left Aquincum, would become the Emperor Hadrian. Almost nothing, sadly, remains of the building. In the late 1940s, the Soviets, during the early days of their East European empire, laid the concrete foundations of a shipyard over it. But from surviving drawings, a few mosaics, and models, it must once have been an extraordinary building.